By and large, the second wave has started from the month of April onwards, by and large. So it has nothing to do with the Q4 earnings per se. And even in April, it is towards the second half of April. So I think the full-blown impact of the second wave is going to be felt in the first quarter for the economy as a whole. And mind you, the quarter one of last year, which was April, May, June quarter of last year, was also impacted. This time also it is impacted. The difference being that last time around it was a nationwide lockdown. This time around it is a localized lockdown. So I think things are still evolving. We still have 50, 60,000 cases per day. Parts of the country have opened up, parts of the country are still under lockdown, extended lockdown, and so on and so forth. My sense is, if for the market as a whole, or let's say for the portfolio also, if you take into perspective, uh, quarter one, the expectations are elevated compared to what the numbers would be like. What I'm trying to say is that, come April, May, June results, which will be declared from the month of July onwards, you're likely to see expectations not getting met. That is not to say that full year we don't really expect the economy to bounce back. We really expect the economy to bounce back from the second, third, fourth quarter, as we saw the last time around. But the quarter one is likely to be muted compared to the expectations that are being built in market conditions, as well as expectation of earnings for the portfolio as a whole. As far as how it has impacted the portfolio as a whole, I think one thing which needs to be kept in mind is that the bullish outlook on the lending institution, which is basically your banking and financial services, because of the uncertainty and because of the not there being a willingness to lend, not the ability to lend, but the willingness to lend, will see some dampened sentiments in the BFS segment as a whole. I'm not saying which is insurance, but the banking and financial services, the lending institutions, whether it be your NBFC or whether it be your banks per se. So we, in any case, were underweight on banks as we progressed from the first wave, and that is the stance we are still carrying currently. So yes, there will be a revival trade, there will be an open up trade, but this is one segment where I choose to remain slightly underweight till clarity emerges. So that's the stance, and that is one segment which needs to be kept an eye on. As I said that expectations from consumers are somewhat not up to the expectations in the second wave of lockdown. There is a heightened degree of uncertainty even as we speak. And numbers might not meet expectations when we compare it on a YOY basis from the first quarter 2021. Next trillion dollar portfolio Q4 FY21 has seen a weighted portfolio earnings growth of 82%. And for the full year 21, the weighted portfolio earnings growth is 32%. This is sharply up from the expectations that we have built in at the beginning of the financial year 2021. When we began the financial year, it was a scenario of a lockdown, and then we kept upgrading our portfolio earnings growth. So we began with 22%. We settled at somewhere around 26%, and the end result for the full year portfolio earnings growth stands at 32%. So it's slightly better than expectations. As far as the commentaries of the management is concerned, vis-a-vis what their performance has been, yes, it has been a blockbuster performance across the corporate sector, but there is a muted outlook as far as the financial year 22 goes, because we have seen second phase of lockdown, localized lockdown, and there is a heightened degree of uncertainty. I think even as we speak, under the new scenario of a second wave hitting the country, I think for Nifty as a whole, I think a 22% earnings growth for FY22 stands good at this point in time. And we will keep revising our numbers as we progress in time. July onwards, we are likely to see the first quarter numbers again come. And then we take it up from there and see how it progresses over the financial year 21. Over the last 1 year, the mid and the small cap space has got re-rated massively, and that was supposed to happen. But it is extending now to a point where things are becoming slightly uncomfortable. The discount to Nifty for the large caps is now somewhere close to equal to the valuation of the large caps. And if this thing continues for, let's say, month and a half again from these levels, we're likely to see a premium on the large cap space, which has never stood the test of time as far as the mid and the small cap space is concerned. So in that backdrop, I think again, come the month of July, you will not see the earnings meeting expectations of what is being exhibited in the stock prices currently. And you're likely to see a correction out there. Having said that, the TDOP having 50% mid-cap portfolio, mid-cap and small-cap space has got the tailwind of the spike that we saw in the broader markets as a whole for financial year 21-22, for financial year 2021, and now extending into financial year 2022. But I think the valuation re-rating is simply not sustainable unless the earnings get delivered. So as far as our mid-caps constituents in the TDOP portfolio is concerned, it is a pick and choose. It's quite safe allocation that we have in the mid and the small cap space, and particularly looking at sectors and companies which really are not favored by the market currently. So suffice it to say, some of the mid-cap names would be meandering close to the value style, and the established large cap spaces watering the growth and the value, growth and quality. So we have a barbell basically where we find deep value, and these would be primarily in the middle, Cummins India or Container Corporation. These would be out of favor sectors currently. So we are slightly ahead in what the markets may want to look at currently, because we think that some of these spaces will gain over a period of time, and the full-blown benefits of this will be felt within a period of, let's say, 12 to 18 months. So we are slightly ahead of the time taking positions out there. But again, as I said, that outlook is that, and the expectation is that we should be able to beat Nifty earnings on a hands-on basis for the full financial year 22. And as I said, that expectation on Nifty stands good at around 22% currently. So the outlook on the earning growth for the portfolio is more than 22%. I've never seen this sort of valuations ever. Let's put it that way. 1.2 times is the cheapest valuation that you can get for the growth that the portfolio is set to exhibit. So if the growth is better and the valuations are cheap, in all probability, the portfolio should do much better than the market as well. That's my belief, because markets emulate, or the portfolio emulates earnings. The constituents, the guys who are actually delivering on. And if you buy it at a cheaper valuation, then I think compared to its historical valuation that we have seen 3.5 times also in this portfolio. And today we are seeing 1.2. So as I alluded to the fact that risk has to be managed at all points in time, given the state of the market, I think the balance of risk and return is very good currently. The mix of risk and return. We have never taken excessive risk, and this time around again we are quite conservative in managing the risk. And obviously, if the portfolio earnings growth is superior, then it should do better than the